For now, let's take you to the Judicial Services Commission, which will today interview judges for the Competition Appeals Courts and High Courts in Mpumalanga as well as the Northern Cape. The JSC yesterday resolved to recommend Justice Betty Molemela for the position of Supreme Court of Appeals President. This was after a wide-ranging interview during which Molemela spoke on a number of aspects affecting the South African society. Newzroom Afrika's reporter Govan Whittles is there and joins us live. Govan, very good morning to you. What can we expect today?
Good morning. Well, today the JSC has a jam-packed day. They'll be interviewing candidates for 5 vacancies at the Competition Appeals Court. Then they'll move on to interview candidates for the position of Mpumalanga High Court Judge President. And then they'll hope to fill vacancies in the Northern Cape High Court. They'll start off with these interviews for the Competition Appeals Court. And although we may expect it to be quite a technical affair that'll focus on mostly contract law, the candidates that are appearing here are interesting. Judge Lister Nuku from the Western Cape High Court had presided over a number of interesting cases. He's been acting as a seconded judge in the Competition Appeals Court since 2022, but when he was in the Western Cape, he famously gave that decision that the president's suspension of the public protector was invalid and that it had some bias because the suspension was effected after she had sent him the questions on Phala Phala. He also adjudicated over the case of Kumani Makwele. Remember that he had splashed feces over the statue of Cecil John Rhodes at UCT and ruled that UCT suspension of him was illegal. And then the other candidate, Brian Splech, is known to be the most senior judge in the High Court in Johannesburg after the Judge President and Deputy Judge President, both of them vying here for the positions on the Competition Appeals Courts, which are really seconded positions. There are only 2 permanent judges, 10 seconded positions that are filled on an annual basis. There are 5 vacancies for those seconded positions, and that's what the JSC will be dealing with this morning. It is a jam-packed day. What we saw yesterday was not only a focus on how well these judges can administer their courts. Well, that was expected because they were interviewing for the position of Judge President of the Supreme Court of Appeal, but there also were technical questions on the state of South African society and their views on it. We saw the now recommended Supreme Court of Appeal Judge President, Justice Betty Molemela, weighing in on whether South Africa is sliding towards lawlessness as a country and which role judges should be playing in society in terms of taking part in debates about the state of the country. Today we expect it to be heavily focused initially on contract law, but later on when those interviews take place for the position of Judge President of the Mpumalanga High Court, for the High Court in the Northern Cape, we do expect more general questions about the kind of cases the judges are adjudicating over and what kind of role the courts are playing in South African society right now. Behind me, some of the commissioners are already making their way into this auditorium. The Chief Justice is already there, so is the Justice Minister, Ronald Lamola. So we're expecting things to get underway soon, and we'll bring you some of those updates, some of the interesting bits as they arise here from the Judicial Services Commission in Sandton.
Very well, Govan Whittles. Let's leave it there for now as we continue, of course, to talk about what's expected there.